Hey guys, what's up? It's Darkmick here, and welcome back to another 5-minute Mythic tank dungeon guide for BFA. Today we are in the Underrot, and trash on the way to the first boss is going to be these Underrot ticks. Now they can be found in two large packs, one to the direct left of you here and one further up on the right. These deal massive physical damage via a stacking dot, and they explode on death. If you are pulling these ticks, use your stuns, use your slows, and don't be afraid to kite. Do not feel like you just have to stand there and tank the face damage. Be like King Arthur and run away. Fetid maggots, they're going to face a random direction and spew out bad stuff. You don't want to stand in it. We're going to the right here and we're skipping the ticks, and we have a rogue in our group. So after the fetid maggot, we're going to mount up and we're going to shroud all the way down to the first boss. Now, if you don't have a rogue in your group, you are going to have to deal with the following: the Matrons. So these have two abilities, Savage Cleave and Warcry. Savage Cleave, you can either move out of the way or you can grip them off the cast. Just don't stand in front of them, it deals a hell of a lot of damage. Warcry, you can dispel or soothe if it gets off. Headhunters, just watch out for the barbed spears. If you're pulling multiples of them, you can get targeted with multiple barbed spears at once, which may cause you to have to roll a defensive cooldown. Devout Blood Priests, interrupt Dark Reconstitution, it heals surrounding mobs. You really want to interrupt Gift of Gahun. This increases their damage and prevents them from dying for 25 seconds unless you can dispel or purge the buff off. And lastly, the Befouled Spirit. So these cast Harrowing Despair, it's group-wide damage. You want to interrupt as many as you can, and you want to nuke these down first. Now, know the trash on the right side, if you're going to the first boss, is probably harder than the left side if you're pulling it. The bottom pack contains a double Matron and a Befouled Spirit, so just be aware of that. So on to the first boss, Elder Lexia. As the tank, interrupt Bloodbolt when you can and have an interrupt order set up with your group. You'll all get a debuff from any damage taken in this encounter called Taint of Gahun. This puts a healing absorb on you when you take damage, which your healer then has to heal through before they can actually heal you, and the more damage you take, the higher this actually stacks. Don't stand in bad stuff, don't stand in the blood on the floor or the green stuff. Move the boss to the add as soon as it spawns for cleave damage. Next up, there's more Underrot ticks and maggots, so remember to be smart with the ticks. Plus, you also have feral blood swarmers. Now, these fixate on people, so don't feel bad about your threat. The living rots cast Wave of Decay, so move away from the bad stuff on the ground and interrupt what you can. Disease Lashes, interrupt Decaying Mind. This puts a healing absorb on people. You want to clear this entire area to make life easy on this next boss, unless you've got the biggest of Ds. The second boss is Cragmaw the Infested. As the tank, bring him up to the wall and face him into the wall. Cragmaw's going to cast Indigestion, which is a frontal cone. As soon as he starts spewing blood, sidestep out of the way. Because you're facing the wall, it's going to mitigate the amount of bugs that actually get spawned that you need to step on. The bugs that do spawn, make sure you walk over them. The boss is going to turn and charge at a player. Don't get hit. You can then have your group stand up against the ribcage, which will actually negate the distance that he's going to charge as long as they move out of the way. Make sure you go and stand on the bugs. At 100 energy, the boss is going to throw Tantrum. Go stand on the bugs. The next trash you're going to have are the Reanimated Guardians. These cast Bone Shield. You can purge or dispel it off, but interrupt what you can. Fallen Death Speakers cast Raise Dead. You want to interrupt this, but the main one you want to watch out for is Wicked Frenzy. It causes them to enrage. Make sure you interrupt that or purge it off if it goes. You'll see little red blood puddles on the ground. These are home to grotesque horrors. They cast Death Bolt, which you want to interrupt, and they trigger when you run near them. The Bloodsworn Defilers channel Withering Curse, interrupt this. They also spawn a totem. You either need to kill the totem ASAP or move 6 yards away from it to avoid being stunned. The third boss is Sporecaller Xancha. Tank it facing away from your group and in front of some green mushrooms. Xancha's going to cast a Shockwave, which you're going to use to clear up the mushrooms on the ground. You want to hit as many as possible without walking on them. Xancha's going to cast Volatile Pods, and this causes shit to go absolutely everywhere. Dodge it. Next, kill the Faceless Corruption down the stairs and don't get hit by Maddening Gaze as it fears you. Next, you're going to hug this wall and you're going to run all the way around. We're going to skip these Reanimated Guardians. We're going to watch out for the blood puddle on the ground, and we're going to watch for the padding mob. When the padding mob goes past, we're going to kill the horror. We're then going to move up and around. We're going to kill the next horror. Then we've got a rogue in our group again, so we're going to mount up and we're going to shroud all the way to the end to the last two Faceless Corruptions waiting for us at the entrance. If you don't have a rogue in your group, you're hugging the left wall and you're walking down, actioning the mobs accordingly. There should only be two grotesques on the way to the last two faceless. Then you're going to get to the last boss, which is the Unbound Abomination. Tank the boss and convince the group to stand either near you, on you, or on the same side of you. What this is going to do is it's going to call the Vile Expulsion from the boss to go towards your group and the wall rather than the middle of the room. The group will then get a dot called Putrid Blood, which you clear off by standing in the giant yellow circle that will get placed around someone. You also use this to clear off the expulsion on the floor. Pick up the ads as they spawn and drag them under the boss for cleave. The Titan will be running around helping you kill ads as well. If he's got a yellow beam on one, just leave him to kill it. And that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks very much for taking the time to check out the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Come hang with us in Discord. Come say hi on Twitch. And I'll see you all next time. See you, fam.